Hello, everybody. I have another drawing video here for everybody. Um, People seem to be liking these, so I think I'm gonna continue on doing them, and they're very fun to do. And today I have a very special guest with me. Um, uh, do you want me
Okay.
called something, or do you want me to just say your name?
Probably just my name.
Just your name. What's going on, Brandon?
Nothing much, Alex.
Brandon is my brother. We come from the same mother. All
Yes.
right, all right. Same womb.
Don't work
Maybe
like
not,
that.
maybe let's not start with that. But how you doing? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Not bad. Not bad.
Good. Hmm. Sorry, I'm thirsty here for my Pepsi. Oh, all right. Well, Brandon, do you have any ideas on what you want me to draw today? You want me to draw you as something, or a superhero, or a comic book character,
So,
anime?
taking a look at what you did prior, I know that you sorted out with like superheroes and all that, and then you slowly moved to anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, with my interests, probably draw me as a Cowboy Bebop character.
A Cowboy Bebop character.
hmm
Ooh, okay. All right, that's an interesting one. Oh, I just realized that my charger isn't here. Um, okay, give me 1 second.
You're good.
What do I do with my charger?
Technical difficulties, folks. There's some issues behind the scenes.
Ugh, we always have a little bit of technical difficulties here.
And we are getting them sorted out as we speak.
That's right, that's right. All right, so Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Uh, I'm gonna pull up a few references here.
You're good.
Um, what you been getting into?
I mean, when it comes to like games, anime, what are you on about?
I mean, just pretty much anything that you've been getting into. You said you've been watching a few anime
Yeah,
here
so
recently.
pretty much when it comes to anime, I've been trying to get into more of Cowboy Bebop. I need to finish the last like 4 episodes or so. Other animes that I've been getting into is just like BNA, B Stars, things like that. I'm trying to like expand that library though. I want to see what else is out there. Cowboy Bebop really got me hooked though, so I haven't been able to get out of it yet.
It's one of those really nice animes that I used to watch or like wake up, around like 11 o'clock, midnight, right after Toonami on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
I used to have that stuff on there.
like I heard so much about the fact that it was like way ahead of its time, and watching it, I can sort of see it. If I remember, it was like maybe I know this is probably gonna be inaccurate, but like early 2000s, if not sort of like late 90s, which is nuts to think about.
Right, right. So let me ask, are you wanting to be like I'm gonna have to restart this again. It's been doing this a lot lately. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's alright.
Are you like a bounty hunter in the Cowboy Bebop world?
Yeah, I'd
Or
say I'm good for that.
do you have any cybernetics at all? I know that Cowboy Bebop kind of has a few
Yeah.
cybernetic stuff in there. Um,
Uh, I want to say like maybe for like a cybernetic like arm or something.
okay, all right. So we're gonna go with a what's his name? Chase, J,
Chase.
Chase, Jace. I can't remember his name, but okay.
Oh, Jet.
Jet. That was it. Jet. I always like Jet. I like his backstory.
Same. I'm trying to remember like because it's been a small bit since I've seen Cowboy Bebop, so I'm trying to like remember everything. I know that like Faye's backstory is one of my favorites, but just because of how much stuff there is to it. In a
Yeah.
way, it doesn't exactly remind me, but like the main comparison I can really give is like say to like the Avatar in a way, in which if you're just sort of you're fine at one point, then all of a sudden you're just sort of like stuck in time for a while, then you get on, and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. No, it's definitely a really cool world, and new with their new live action series that they're coming out with on Netflix.
hmm
It's the hype is there for people to start watching the oldies, you know.
And that's what is in like, if I remember, isn't it Netflix that's backing it?
Netflix, yeah, yep, yep. Which, I mean, they're kind of iffy with their anime adaptations,
Yeah, like,
Cough Cough, Death Note, Cough Cough.
yeah, I know that Netflix has been sort of notorious for like, all right, hey, you have like the main anime, and then you have the Netflix adaptation, like all the way at the end, and it's just sort of like, I know that some people are like sort of worried about how the Cowboy Bebop one will go. People are worried about the Avatar one especially, so it's sort of just a gamble.
Shit, they are coming out with a Avatar one, aren't they?
Oh, did you not hear the news behind the creators in that?
Oh God, what?
The original creators dropped out from what I know.
They dropped out of it?
Yeah, so
Oh,
Netflix is
great.
going for it.
So that means they're just gonna have like free reign over what
Yeah,
content they
it's
got
because
in.
that the original creators were like, no, no, no. I know that they made oh, this shows how bad I am with names. So you know how like Sokka and Katara, right? They're
Yeah.
making Katara the older sister instead of Sokka being the older brother. And they're making weird changes like that, and it's super just weird.
Just why? Why? Why do you have to put your own spin on shit? And I mean, I get it. It's some like artistic, but if you're gonna make like a live action series out of something Avatar, I say that you either make something completely original that just happens to take place in that world,
Mhm.
or you make something that's completely like true to the anime or the show itself.
I mean, the good thing with that though is that again, I heard about it, and I know that this is mostly accurate. I just don't know the full details behind it. The original team that made Avatar, when they were with Netflix and when they parted, they ended up talking to each other and they were like, all right, you know what, screw it. So they made their own studio and they're going to continue making Avatar stuff now.
Yeah, I did see that part, and that is really cool. Like, I'm really excited to see what else they come up with. I even talked to my friends about, like even if they do stick with the whole like main character is the Avatar,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a Earthbender, I believe,
Yeah, so if they're
which
going
is
to
gonna be
be
really
doing it
cool.
after Korra, it's going to be an Earthbender. And I feel like that's sort of interesting because there's been fan things, not even just on YouTube, it's like people are trying to make series going after, like continuing the story because it happened before all this news came up. So it's like people are making their own stories and how they would see as the Earthbender would go on ahead and be the Avatar.
That'd be so cool. Well, I'm excited for their series, the live action Netflix stuff, and I guess we'll see. But I'm not really holding my breath. I really haven't liked any of their adaptations. And the one like only live action adaptation that I've actually liked has been the Japanese version of Death Note that they did because they stuck exactly to it. Like the main character who plays Light and the other character who plays L look almost exactly like them.
Oh.
And I think that's so cool. I don't know if a whole lot of people have seen that version of it, but and then they split the entire thing into like three movies. Yeah, if you do it right, then I think you can, get the funding to do the rest of what you need to do instead of trying to put your own spin on stuff. People are like, well, I don't want to fucking watch Katara be the older fucking like this is dumb. I don't know.
I mean, like, it really just depends because I sort of agree with you to an extent in which you just like, if a studio sees something, say in this case, if you want to use Avatar again, you could see it as all right, well, if they want to remake Avatar, it depends if they're trying to put their own spin on things or they're just trying to re-say it. Because Avatar, I feel like, is sort of perfect the way it is because of the fact that it's animated and you can do so much stuff in the long run with it. If they're trying to make Avatar in the Netflix adaptation a more like serious thing, I might be able to see that, but again, it really just depends because so far they're changing one of the key dynamics in the first place.
Yeah,
So it's hard to tell
yeah.
what else they'll really do. So I would be excited if it's like, all right, well, Netflix is taking their own spin on it, but it really just depends on how well that'll really go through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you been playing any interesting video games lately?
I have been playing a little bit of some, yeah. So I've been playing things like these are entirely different games, mind you. I've been playing Okami, Enter the Gungeon. We have some Friday Night Funkin' stuff that I'm trying to do.
Friday Night Funkin'?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a game series that's been getting popular really quickly, and it's been sort of interesting to see it. It's sort of taking inspiration from Newgrounds, a website that's been around for like ages.
I remember using Newgrounds.
Yeah, pretty much it's like a rhythm-based game. The game blew up mostly due to its modding scene. So there's a lot of like open source things in that game, and people are going nuts for it right now.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
Another game that I've been playing with buddies. This happened like 2 days ago, actually. Shell Shock Live. It's pretty much worms, but instead of worms, you have tanks instead.
Oh, interesting.
And there's like a whole bunch of different weapons. You can upgrade them, do whatever. I think like one of the weapons you can get is literally called 2012, and it's like a bunch of lightning strikes that strike down on things. It's nuts.
That's pretty cool. Oh yeah. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. I just got ended up getting my Switch, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I was definitely not about um, the Switch controls,
Hmm.
but after a while, once you get used to them, it's really easy to get through that type of stuff. I'm still a little pissed off that you don't have um, uh, uh, voice chat
Oh, okay.
on the Switch. Like,
So
what the fuck?
the thing with the voice chat feature is that Nintendo, they're very like, all right, compared to the competitors, voice chat is very just sort of dumb. The main way that they do it, at least how Smash does it, is that when the Switch first came out, or with Smash when it first came out, they basically published an app on your phone, and which is like this Nintendo online thing. And what it is that you can use friend codes, and you can sort of use that as like a friends list, as you would in like PlayStation or something. So if you do that, and if both people have the app, you can talk to them through that app. So you can't do a voice chat directly through the Switch, but you can do it through a phone app. But again, at that point, why not use Discord or something?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So, and it sort of sucks too, because it's like there's not a messaging system on the Switch either. It's just sort of if you have a friend code, you can only see them through certain games. Granted, there's nothing like COD or there's no big titles in which you have squads in, but for stuff like Monster Hunter or Smash, it's just sort of inconvenient, really.
Yeah, it really is. Especially if you're trying to coordinate certain things. Me and my friends have
Exactly.
been playing a lot on Discord,
Hmm.
to kind of break it up to be able to talk to each other from there, and it's nice on our phones. It actually works a lot better than what I thought it was going to. But yeah, yeah. So, what kind of clothing do you have in here?
That is a good question, honestly. Because I'm trying to like remember at the top of my head. I might need to switch it up myself. Like the clothing in Cowboy Bebop is sort of all over the place because they try to go with this type of feel. It's not too futuristic, but it's not like full like 70s or like 80s either.
Right, yeah, definitely gotten that like noir
Yeah,
esque.
it doesn't help that like all the characters sort of have their own outfits going on too.
Hmm.
The main thing that I know is I will definitely want some form of hoodie.
Some form of hoodie.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
at the very least, something with like a hood. That's just sort of my style with things. Let's see.
God, it is such a nice day today.
Honestly, though. If you just like search up like Cowboy Bebop clothing style on Google, you get the weirdest results.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it uh, um, cosplay
But like,
stuff?
yeah, but it's sort of just like I don't know. Like, if you want like Jet's actual, just like
Oh yeah, so it's
yeah,
just
like
a hoodie with his skin. That's a little weird.
yeah. You have like that, and then you have like some random man on the street. Like you have this man as well. Sort of just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I went to a Halloween party one time, and there was a dude who was Spike. It was a bar that we went to, and this guy was dressed up as Spike, and he hit on me.
Yeah, he hit on you.
He did. He hit on me, and it was a really weird. I was like, nah, I don't swing that way. I'm sorry. But you know what? At least I can say sometime in my life that I got hit on by Spike. I can. I can.
Dude,
It's amazing.
was he like hitting on everyone at that time, or was he just hitting on you?
I have no idea. I just know that he was really drunk. And who knows? My hair was kind of long at the time, so I don't know. Maybe he thought it was a chick or something.
Dude, the issue with like having long hair as a guy, especially for like me, I remember this is like years ago. I was with someone, and what it was like there's like this one guy asking for like money or something, and he was like tapping on people's cars. And the person I was with, they like roll down the window, and they're like, "Hey, what is it?" And this old homeless dude was like, "Hey, do you two girls have money?" And I just had to like slowly look at the guy, and as he was talking to the other person in the car, he was like, "Oh, wait, okay, wait."
He said, "Whoops, my bad."
Yeah, so he had to like correct himself later on, and I felt sort of bad for the dude.
It happens. It happens from time to time. Yeah, when I like go to people's houses, it's one of those things where it's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and it's like, really, don't be. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah, like honestly, it's
Honest
not.
mistake. It's not like someone's like, long hair, girl. Good one, Bob. You really
Dude,
nailed that one, man.
you call him a girl, that's why it's like so hard to tell. Like for me, whenever I just like see someone out in public and if I want to like ask them something, I normally like take a few extra seconds to be like, all right, June, like what do I call them here? Like, especially with like pronouns and everything, it's sort of just like, all right, crap, hi, uh,
Yeah.
like you're like,
I'm like not trying to piss you off.
yeah,
I just
like you
need
don't
to
want to make like a
know.
bad first impression either. Just sort of like, ah, crap, hey, dude.
No one can get mad at you for that though. Like,
Yeah, that's fair, but it's like some people get like
yeah,
really
I don't know.
angry.
I can't tell from just your appearance. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh. So my friend Tyler, I believe he's gonna be very surprised that you didn't pick like an Undertale character.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
like,
told him I was having you on, and I totally thought you were gonna do like an Undertale character.
really? I'll be honest, the choices for this was either gonna be because I wasn't thinking that like games too much because I was also trying to think. I was trying to bounce off of your style a little bit. The original ideas was Cowboy Bebop, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Beastars, and then Persona 5.
Those are all perfectly good suggestions. Seriously.
Yeah, that's why I was like, crap, I don't know which one to do. Well, we were having because we went to the mall earlier, and then we had lunch with some buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And while Alex was out, I was talking to like his buddies, and was like, I don't know if I should do like Avatar or if I should do Cowboy Bebop. One of them was like, yeah, Cowboy Bebop. I was like, yeah, why not?
Oh yeah. And Jack and Becca are definitely like Cowboy Bebop fans, so like I
Yeah.
totally see them being that route. Like, bro, do it. And it's an
Dude.
interesting one. Like I couldn't see anybody else like asking me to do Cowboy Bebop. So
Really? Like, the reason why I was thinking, like, say, all three is Cowboy Bebop. I really love its aesthetic. With me, one day I'm sort of wanting to be an author when it comes to like books and stuff. And I really love the world building that Cowboy Bebop has.
oh
To me,
yeah.
it's like the perfect blend of like, all right, you have like some old stuff, but you also have some futuristic stuff, and it has like that early 2000s like feel in which it just like they had no idea what the future was going to be like, but they said, ah, screw it, let's just try it.
Always kind of remind me of like Blade Runner too with some of their stuff.
Yeah, I can see it. Like especially with like some episodes more than others, it's just like crazy.
They just didn't go into like the whole like robot synthetic human type route.
Yeah,
So
And then it was like, when it comes to the other choices, Avatar, I felt like would have been interesting because I think I would have asked you, like, all right, what do you think, what bender I would be? And I would maybe see what you would think and then what you would come up with. Because I feel like at that point you can go either down the Korra or just normal Avatar route. Just depends on what it is.
I do like Korra because they did find a way to fit in those bending styles
Hmm.
that is sort of invented between Avatar and Last Airbender. Like the whole fact that people now can uh, lightning bend
Hmm.
and they kind of use it to like power their city and stuff. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, like the
Uh,
fact in which like they made something like that and actually used it for power was super neat. I know that
yeah,
some people were angry with Korra because like they downplayed how bending was, in which it used to be like this really powerful thing, but now it's just like used for sports. And
yeah.
I can
I
like,
like the sports part, but I see what they're coming from.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like with me, I'm sort of like in the middle. I can see it either way, honestly. I haven't given Korra too much of a chance, if I'll be honest. I've
it's
watched,
hard. It's
I,
hard to get into.
I've watched seasons like 1 and 2, and it just like with the entire thing, which is like Korra mess with like the Avatar cycle and all this other type of stuff. It's just sort of like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, have you gotten to the very first Avatar story yet?
I've watched a bit of it, yeah.
That
One.
that's when I actually like got into it, and I was like, okay, all right, I can fuck with this. But when it started, I was like, oh God, no, let's. I don't need to see the first Avatar. This is too meta for me. Like, I don't care.
Like the only issue that I have with it, and like maybe not just me, but it's like I know like several other people when they deconstruct Korra, they go after that bit, and the main reason why they do is like they basically make this like obviously good, obviously evil type thing for like some discount like evil avatar as well, like
Yeah,
God versus
yeah.
devil type thing, and it's sort of like it's not something you're looking in when it comes to like Avatar, man.
Right, right. Now, when you get to the very like last season,
Hmm.
that's when I was like, okay, I kind of love this show. Because if you notice, every season of Legend of Korra deals with a new type of enemy, but it's also from a certain type of element. And as it was going on, I was like, all right, where's my fucking earthbending? Where's my earthbending dude? I
Oh.
want to see her fight like an evil earthbender. And it was I think hands down the best villain was fucking uh Korva, Kova, Kava, something like that.
I'm searching it up.
It's been a while, but she was my favorite, and I was like, "Oh, she dope." Metal bender,
Yeah, all right. So the thing with that is, I remember seeing it. Kuvira.
Kavira, yeah,
Uh,
she was dope.
the cool thing that I saw about her, because I was seeing someone disconstruct Korra, and they mentioned about how good that villain was because, like, one of the times in the show, she basically, like, Darth Vader choked someone using the metal pads on their shoulders. And that
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
super cool thing. The thing with Avatar is, like, the thing I love is how creative you can get with the different types of bending. Especially when it comes to, like metal bending, like you sort of don't think about it at first. Toph did a little bit of it, especially when like gouging through doors on the ship in the final episode of Last Airbender.
so dope. Yeah,
But it's like obviously there's a lot more stuff you can go with it, and it makes bending like more interesting. Because originally Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was cool because it's like, all right, hey, you're sort of at like technology hasn't really boomed yet. The Fire Nation has blimps, yeah, but it's like nothing too crazy. The Fire Nation was like the most, experienced and whatnot. But like
yeah,
other
yeah.
benders still had, their own thing. But it's like, oh no, later on we can counter it. But it's just having small things like that, like the choke slam or weird things like that, is just super neat.
Yeah, when she like came out the gate and was fucking using the metal straps to sit there and like capture all the pirates and stuff. I thought I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is badass.
The one thing I'm confused about is like how bloodbending wasn't more popular.
Yeah, that was one of those like little darker ones that they never really like dove into even more. Um,
Because like,
that's a lot of people's favorites too.
yeah, because the cool thing was like bloodbending. the thing that the show, I guess, never really talked about, because I saw some fan speculation on this, is that Katara never wanted to be a bloodbender because it was sort of an issue for her, and then obviously she just never wanted to do it. Hama was just the evil old lady that I don't know what her plan was. She was just putting people in a cave and that was it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but it's like with Korra, they would just use bloodbending as like he who you must follow me until Aang was like, nah, I'm just gonna take all your things away. But it's
Right, right.
like people were saying if Katara kept bloodbending around, she could heal people better. You can technically be a really good doctor with bloodbending because you can just like take anything out.
That's true. That's true. And there wasn't like a stigma or anything around like I did people even know that bloodbending was a thing? Like
I
in
know that
Avatar: The
like
Last Airbender, except for her, right?
oh
Like,
well like up to that point bloodbending wasn't even thought about. Only like after Katara met Hama was like bloodbending a thing. I don't think it
yeah, that's what I
changed
thought.
too much. I know that Katara used it in another episode, mostly just in anger against the guy who killed her mother.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
it's
right.
like afterwards, she just like said like she just never wanted to bloodbend again. And Korra, she was like, ah, no, I still don't like to bloodbend, and she's like 80 years old.
Right, yeah. And it's like, well, kind of probably would have helped.
Especially in like most fights to do, just like slam them down to the ground. Then again, she's really old at that point, so it's hard to really tell how much she can do in a fight.
Right.
What were like some of your favorite characters in Korra, anyways?
Hands down, Toph. Toph.
Toph. Toph.
Toph. My name's Toph because it rhymes with tough.
Toph.
Um, no, I love Toph. I to some extent I love Jet, but at the same time, like he was one of those edgy characters that was like, "Oh no, you're doing this for evil reasons," and for some reason, I did kind of identify with him. Like, yeah, no, fuck all these fucking firebenders. Like,
Hmm.
it does not matter, kill them all. But at the same time, it's like he was just also one of those edgy characters that
Yeah,
was
like
there sort of like as a red herring love interest for Katara. And then Legend of Korra has some of my favorites because I love pretty much all the main cast members. Um, and there was this one point where I wanted to do a drawing of myself as the Avatar.
really.
And as I'm starting to draw it and stuff, I'm just realizing that I'm drawing Toph's descendant, like grandson, who uses metal bending as an art form.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you've seen that part, but like they go to Toph's family's house where all of her grandkids and stuff are there. And imagine like Skrillex as an earthbender and he's making metal statues and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, what I have on my paper is him. So yeah, I guess. So he's one of my favorite characters, even though he doesn't really do anything. And
He's like
then
a back character.
I think her name is like Faye Fung, the police chief from Legend of
Oh,
Korra. That's who Toph's daughter is.
yeah, like one of her daughters, so she has like what, like several. I
Yeah,
know like one
yeah,
is like the police chief, and then the other is like this like very proper lady near like Bossing Say or something stupid.
yeah, yeah. I love them. So I mean, pretty much all metal bending. Her entire family is just very, very cool. I'll tell you what. I wanted to do that, but I'm going to take Jet's legs
Hmm.
and put them, or I'm gonna make you some robotic legs. Not
Hey,
robotic, but like gauntlets for your legs here.
that's on it.
Some greaves.
Some greaves.
Yeah.
I think like Cowboy Bebop definitely does like inspire me at times. So like I know like the last episode that I watched, it was sort of like because I think that was like the last one I actually like watched for like a while now, and I need to get back into it. I just need a Hulu again, but it's like the last episode sort of has everyone splitting up and doing their own thing. Spike's busy with his past. I think. Well, no. Spike is trying to figure out what to do. Jet is messing with his past. Ed took the dog and is sort of on Earth, and Faye took a ship and just left.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like
all trying to figure out their own arcs.
Yeah, and it's super interesting. I love how Ed is just sort of the crazy, wacky one, but also has just a fondness for technology.
Yeah, yeah. I love her. I'm surprised actually she didn't get a whole lot of screen time.
Yeah,
At least from what I remember.
like she doesn't have that much. She's mostly used as sort of not further. She furthers the plots of some episodes because it's like, all right, hey, I have a computer, let me just do all of this. But otherwise, she doesn't have too much. The
No.
main character development that you really get is like one episode you actually get to meet her dad.
Yeah, yeah, and that becomes sort of her story arc.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I'd like need to watch it again. Faye's backstory is super interesting because to me at least, it's a thing in which it's just like if I remember, she was having like a normal life at one point, and then she was like on the run from like police or something. Either way, she got into like this really like bad wreck, something along those lines in which she needed to like be stuck for like an X amount of time. I think what it was is that there was like this one dude saying like, "Hey," and this is probably totally inaccurate, but it's like, "Hey, uh, I'll need to fix you like later. So step into this thing and I'll help you out like really shortly. I just like need some time first." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then she's in it. Then 100 years later or something ridiculous, that's when she comes out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, good God, like she's like panicking during some of her episodes. It's like the weirdest thing to me though is like during those first episodes, it shows that she knows what she's doing. So it's weird to suddenly go back to, oh, actually she's just as confused as everybody else.
Right.
Plus she has the entire like Lady Luck type persona at the first as well. I'm trying to remember that dips like later on. I don't fully remember.
Such a good series, though.
Honestly.
Such a good series.
I'm trying to remember what the news was when it comes to its live action thing. Because I think, if I remember, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong here, that when it comes to Faye, they're going to censor some things with her.
Oh, of course.
I think it's like
Gotta censor it.
they're gonna block a lot of the cleavage because I know that's a big
Ah,
thing with
yes.
her
Yes.
for some reason.
That's the only reason I like the character. That's the only reason is her cleavage. You know, I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this show
Dude, if
again
Faye
if
doesn't
I can't
have,
see her boobs.
dude, if you can't see her boobs, it's a useless character,
And
man.
that's what I'm saying. Somebody's gonna clip that and just be like, "Remember this time you said this?" Um, yeah, yeah. You can't have anything in this fucking country anymore.
Dude, what stopped you from watching Cowboy Bebop? They censored Faye's boobs,
The
man.
boobs, man. I can't deal with it. I don't know.
Dude.
People were saying that about Lola Bunny too. So who knows?
Dude, they butchered Lola Bunny though. Like, all right, listen. With like Faye, I imagine that they're just gonna like put her in like several shirts or something. Lola Bunny, they just gave her surgery.
So here's the thing, right? Is people are like, man, I can't believe they did that to Lola Bunny. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Um, the thing is like I've never saw her as like a sexual thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that pisses me off the most about her change was that it seems like she's gonna go in the same route as all these other like Looney Tunes spin-off shows, whatever, is going, and they're gonna make her a dumb redneck. Stop
Oh.
making this female a dumb redneck because you guys are ashamed that you made her sexy quotes
Yeah.
in a fucking basketball movie. It's dumb. Do you have long hair in
Yes.
this? Yeah, I just think it's dumb. Ugh.
Like I know, I remember another example of something like that is during the one of like the Powerpuff reboots. I think it's like the most latest one. There was in the original Powerpuffs, there's like the mayor,
Uh-huh.
and then there's like this tall lady in like red. I forget her name, but like pretty much
I know
I'm
what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and it's pretty much the same situation as the Lola Bunny thing, but it's just like
Did they redo her for the Powerpuff Girls?
I think they sort of did. They
I could
mostly did exactly what the Lola Bunny thing did, and basically just removed her boobs entirely.
I could totally see them doing that stupid shit.
And it's just sort of like, why though? Like, granted, I'm not gonna like go out of my way and say, oh no, bring the boobs back, but it's more of a like,
Just God, annoying me at this point. Like, fucking, I don't know. At the same time, there's people who are like, I'm gonna go march down the city hall about what I'm seeing on fucking Powerpuff Girls. And it's like, you know what? If that's what you need to care about your life, if that's what your purpose is in this world, hey, go for it. Whatever. It doesn't
Dude,
bother my
listen,
ass.
listen. Powerpuff Girls is my life.
That's right. Yeah, that's my favorite fandom in the world.
Dude, if you're not a Powerpuff gamer, then you're not allowed to have an opinion about it.
That's right. Gatekeeping Powerpuff Girl lore. I bet that's how people are about bronies, like My Little Pony.
Dude,
What do
bro.
you mean, fucking Rainbow Dash? You fucking don't talk to me about Rainbow Dash if you don't know what color's on her fucking tail, you poser.
Dude, you're telling me you don't know like her entire backstory? Come on.
Come on.
Dude, you're telling me you don't know how Rainbow Dash can like fly? Then listen, I don't think you're a real brony. You're not a real bro pony.
You're not a real bro pony, dude. I'm
Exactly.
gonna put that on a shirt.
You're not a real bro pony.
That's right.
Pony.
Say that time 5 times fast. You play the second Little Nightmares?
Oh, okay, so I've seen the entire game so far,
Yeah.
and I've seen some like videos about it. Why?
I just for a while there I didn't really like message you or text you about it, but I was like also getting into uh the Little Nightmares lore and the new one stuff. I was kind of caught up on the old one.
Oh.
Um, you like that hair?
Uh,
That hair look nice. I think it's about your length, but
yeah, I feel like if you want to, you can do. I was gonna say maybe more with the front, but that's up to you.
that one down there.
Because I know that sometimes my hair is just all over the place.
It do be all over the place.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on Windman. Yeesh. But yeah, like I heard that like Little Nightmares 2, it's sort of like it's another situation in which I think Capcom helped publish Little Nightmares 2. The thing is though is that I heard the original creators are done with Little Nightmares, which sort of sucks.
I mean, I guess I could see that. Have you seen the ending of it already?
Yeah, I have. I've seen the ending, then the secret ending too.
Okay, well, spoilers for people who are still trying to play Little Nightmares 2. But do you believe that it is like a sequel to her story?
I feel as if like in a way I feel as if it's a prequel instead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh no, no, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's hard to really tell because you can have evidence for both ends, and that's the main issue with it. Is that
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest argument with both is if it's a sequel, then explain the entire ending, the secret ending, in which Shadow 6 looks at the poster of the mall. And it's like, all right, well, what's the point of that? If she's hungry and then she looks at the mall, how else, what else was that supposed to coordinate?
Right, right.
But
I guess that makes sense.
I think it's like if it's a prequel, then I'm trying to like think. Because I know that there's some like issues. Like if it's a prequel, then Little Nightmares 2 is a time loop.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, well, it's definitely a loop at least for what's his name?
Mono.
Mono, yeah, yeah.
And it's sort of bad because it's sort of just like damn. Because some people are thinking that Little Nightmares 2 is a prequel, and that 6 just grows up to be the lady on the ship.
I mean, I think that might be a little far-fetched.
I mean, the reason why. Ooh, but that's the thing though, is that it's interesting because if you wanted to see it as a sequel and not a prequel, if you wanted to see it as a sequel, if you go into that one house where 6 is kept up, if you go into the attic, you can open up a small chest, and the chest is where a gnome is. The thing is, though, is that if you played Little Nightmares 1, if you went through one of the DLCs, the lady's power is turning kids into gnomes.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is. Oh yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
is true. Yeah.
So that means that either the house just secretly had one, or Six turned another child into a gnome, but not Mono for some reason.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, so it's sort of just like, the comics are an even weirder thing to get into.
You're not one for cigarettes, are you?
Nah,
You don't want a cigarette in yours?
nah.
Okay. I'm burping all day today.
What'd you eat,
Uh,
man?
you know what I ate? I ate Baby Bop.
Bebop makes you burp that much?
Baby Bop. Uh,
All right. I know that like because we were talking about like the things I was like gonna think about having you draw me as,
you,
and B stars was gonna be one of them.
real quick, you didn't want glasses, did you? Because I can
Uh,
put glasses on here if you want to.
if you want, it can be like not like I need them for to see or anything, just sort of a small like cosmetic thing. If you want to include
I
them.
got you. I got you. What are we saying? B stars?
Yeah. So like B stars is the same thing as Cowboy Bebop for me. Is that the world building is some of my favorite bits.
Mm.
And that's mostly just because, in which is just like I haven't seen. I'm mostly just seeing the anime. I'm reading a bit of the manga, but I haven't reached that far in the manga yet to outreach the anime. I haven't watched season 2 yet, mostly just because I'll wait till it gets on Netflix or something.
Right, right.
But pretty much, I know that like the plot gets like super crazy later on, but the main world building that I enjoy is just like nothing is really what it seems. I know that in the one of the episodes, I know like the class goes out for like this one trip and they go out to like the main city, and everyone just seems like so casually happy and everything else like that. But then there's like a meat market, and everyone again is still casual. But the main character, Legoshi, or just Legoshi, he is like freaking out because he notices that all the meat is from other animals that's been killed.
Oh shit.
So they're just casually serving like cannibalism pretty much.
Well, shit.
And you sort of realize that the entire world is just sort of a fluke.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting to sort of think about it because it's like, oh shit, all right then.
So does it have that like Zootopia kind of way going
In
into
a
like
way, yeah, but
a
it's more,
conspiracy?
yeah, but it's sort of like I joke about it with like friends because they are sort of into it too. But it's sort of like it's a more mature Zootopia,
Hmm.
and I can
Yeah,
kind of see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can totally get with that.
I think it's like a less of Zootopia goes for more like, oh look, you're a wolf, I'm a bunny, uh-oh. But in Zootopia, it's just sort of not Zootopia. In Beastars, it's more of a hey, actually everyone's in danger.
Right, right. Like it's not just predator and prey
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot more going on. It's like predator versus predator as well, prey versus prey, whatever. Instead of Zootopia's entire like, there's this weird drug that people are taking, and it turns people into feral things. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh,
Because I know like Beastars doesn't exactly have that. I know that blood is used to have a similar thing. I don't know. I think that's mostly just for uh, Legoshi though. Legoshi.
Legoshi.
Legoshi. The issue with watching just the subs that you don't know how to pronounce the characters' names correctly.
That's with all anime.
Yeah,
Or
that's
God forbid if you're a fucking uh, uh, director of a certain Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ung.
No.
No, anything but ung.
What was it? Soko, no.
Soko. Kataru.
It's like, good lord, people, can you please fucking just learn shit? Learn shit. Watch the show.
Learn the
I
source
swear to
material.
God, that's all you need to do is sit in your house. That's all you have to do is just sit in your goddamn house
Dude,
and learn.
be a lazy fuck like the rest of us and just do
Just
something.
goddamn. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Why are you so dumb?
Because I'm trying to think, because I haven't seen that many adaptations of something.
I don't think that works.
To you, what's an example of an adaptation gone right?
Adaptation done right. I'm really trying to think. I'm like looking at my like library of books and shit. I mean, you could say that like the Alien versus Predator stuff. A lot of people have problems with that. Mad Max. No, that won't work either. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's sort of hard.
They even fucked up my Tom and Jerry movie that just came out, and it's like
Did it already come out?
it already came out,
What?
and it's fucking terrible.
Why?
It's just terrible. It has nothing to do about any of what Tom and Jerry is, and they focus mainly on human characters. And it's like, bro, my main problem with shit nowadays is that nobody knows how to fucking draw. Nobody. Nobody knows how to draw anymore. And I'm not like an advocate, like, oh hey, look at this drawing. I can draw. It's just as easy as that. But I mean like if you're gonna make a show about or a movie about an animated show or animated cartoons, take the time and draw a movie that looks fantastic, like the
Yeah, I know.
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. Won countless awards because of its art style and direction and how they drew the entire movie and how it looks fantastic. And then you come out with the Tom and Jerry, who's been around since what, the 30s, 40s, 50s, and you make them 3D in New
Yeah.
York and care about the human characters, and you barely show them, and it's like, that's the best you could do, really,
I feel like it doesn't help that
really.
like nowadays, especially with like people like in their 20s, 30s, they've been around when like animation was like sort of like maybe not its peak, but it's sort of like they've been there where animation was in the like 2D era and it was super good, and then they slowly transformed like the 3D stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, hey, this is sort of cool. But then it's like at that time everything needed to be 3D, everything needed to be CGI.
Everything, yeah,
And then
exactly.
now people are like, all right, yeah, let's go back to the 2D stuff, but no one can just properly do it. And it's just sort of like, okay, why? Uh, I'm trying to think of like some decent examples here. Because like as you said, like Tom and Jerry, it's sort of just like if they really needed to, they could have easily just like did more 2D stuff instead of 3D. But 3D is easier compared to 2D, which is nuts. Because back in the day, 2D was the main source. You didn't have really 3D. 3D used to be the super interesting thing, which is like, it's the future, but now it's just sort of cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Good lord. People piss me off with that.
I think like I forget the name of it, but like the Dragon Ball Z film with like the new Broly, some of those fights in there, especially since it's mostly all like 2D and whatever, it was like super well made, honestly.
It was well made. I still have a little bit of problems with them using 3D scenes.
Hmm.
Um, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I want it to look really good and it saves time.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Like 2D just looks so good under the right
maybe
impressions.
maybe it hasn't gotten so good to where it tricks my eye
Hmm.
yet. But when I see those scenes, I wince a little bit, like,
And so, what is your opinion on Dragon Ball Z Fighters? If,
fighters.
if you've seen it
Oh,
yet.
it's not bad. I think it's really good.
Do you know how they do it?
Yeah, because isn't it the same way that they do those fight scenes as them being 3D?
Yeah, the 3D models set on Ivy are like sort of 2D plane.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that looks really good for a video game.
Yeah.
But once you start actually wanting to do other stuff
Mhm.
in a movie, I would feel like I deserve a little bit of respect. What color do you want your hoodie?
Maybe. Actually, you know what? I'll let you go for it.
Let me decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
I
like,
feel like I deserve a little bit of respect of like hone your fucking craft, man. I hate what computers did to animation.
yeah, and I can sort of see that because it's sort of like 2D animation, the reason why I enjoy a lot of animated things rather than just, say, live action is because if it's animated, you have so much more freedom than you would in a live action thing. Granted, it's like sort of a give or take, but it's like in animation, if done right, you can be a lot more expressive. You can do so much more with the characters. You can like do whatever you want with them. Obviously, if you have a gag in which, say, like Tom and Jerry or something, if a character's sent into space, obviously can't do that IRL. But through
Right.
animation, you can make it look really well made. That's nuts.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I don't know. I like the certain charm that goes with it. It's the same reason that I don't know if you've watched a whole lot of Scooby-Doo or not. I don't
Mhm.
know if that was like just sort of my era,
I've watched a bit as a
but
kid. It was mostly like Scooby Doo was always on reruns, and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like I don't think it was like always the same episode, but it was always like I don't know.
So let me ask you, have you watched any of the Scooby-Doo movies?
All right. Are we talking the quote unquote movies in which it's just like an hour special of Scooby Doo, or is it the live action one?
Not the live action ones, but
Okay.
just the actual animated cartoon
Okay.
movies.
I think I have. They're a bit of a blur, but I do remember some ones. I know that this is probably gonna be wrong, but I know that there's like a scene in one of the Scooby Doo episodes, maybe the movie, in which like Shaggy just starts wrecking shit in like a bikers club.
That's I don't know if that's a movie. It
I
might
don't know.
actually be a movie, but I that's not one I've seen. But
Yeah,
have you seen like Zombie Island?
you would need to jog my memory a bit on it.
Okay, so maybe you haven't seen
I mean, I might have. I don't know. Like, let me search it up really
it.
quick.
Well, the only reason I ask is, I had a couple of my friends on here. We were talking about our favorite Scooby Doo movies. And, when we were kids, these movies came out, but they were the last kind of Hanna-Barbera, which is the animation
Oh,
studio of the original Scooby-Doo before digital animation. And the thing is that if I ask anybody, like, hey, what'd you think of the fucking vampire one? Granted, if I'm asking Austin, he'll know because he knows every single thing. But if I ask a regular person, like, hey, have you seen Scooby Doo and the voodoo ghost or the Egyptian voodoo something, yada, yada,
mhm.
yada, yada? And they're like, no, but I've seen Zombie Island. No, but I've seen Cyber Chase. No, but I've seen The Witch's Ghost and the Alien Invaders one. And you know why? Because they made so much money and they were shown to so many kids when we were little because they were traditionally animated and they looked beautiful. And then when it comes to any movies that came out afterwards, people are like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I think though, as like as a kid, it would be harder to really tell that there was a drop in animation. Mostly just because, like, as a kid, it's not a thing in which you just consume anything you see. Granted, as a kid, you have some standards and you like some things more than others. But it's definitely hard to see like a drop in animation or an increase of it as a kid compared to, say, as a teen or an adult.
Right, right.
With me, when it comes to growing up on TV shows, I mostly grew up with, like, say, regular show, sort of Chowder, actually, and then Adventure Time.
You did come in during that like second renaissance of
Yeah,
children's content.
and I think, like, compared to what you guys had, because you guys had, like, Ed and Eddie, Samurai Jack, all this other type of stuff. Obviously, I think you guys had
Yeah.
it better, because at least it was more consistent. With us, we were sort of at the high tail, because we had, like, Total Drama Island, we had,
Other Miles,
yeah, we had, like, the start of Adventure Time, regular show was going on. But then it's just like as time went on, it sort of just became crappier. Like we ended up getting Steven Universe at some point, but it's also like, you have Teen Titans Go.
right, right,
Like
yeah.
the old shows that us and our generation, it was like, hey, on the wait, these old shows actually kicked ass. Why don't you bring them back? And they're like,
Yeah.
Powerbuffs reboot.
Or we're gonna kid them down enough and make it full of
Yeah,
internet memes instead of anything
like
else.
it felt as if Cartoon Network went from the show for like teenagers into like slowly adults because they used to have like Dragon Ball Z and all that type of stuff on later on Toonami until they took it down for a while. But now it's just sort of like you play it when your 6-year old is being rowdy and they'll glue themselves to the TV.
It's so weird that like shows can also be very censored. while also pushing the envelope for certain stuff that you can say on Cartoon Network. Like I remember Regular Show, and I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't like the art style, and I thought the humor was very dry sometimes. But that was the first cartoon where I've actually heard piss
Oh yeah,
on
so
fucking Cartoon Network. I was like,
yeah,
wow, that's the first time I've heard that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I think they did censor that at some point, but during the first season, definitely stood around. I actually like remember that, and yeah, you were right. That was a bit crazy, and that's why I enjoyed some of those cartoons at the time because, like, say, like as we said, Adventure Time and Regular Show, they were really like pushing the envelope at times, and it was like spooky. I remember that. I know that Courage gave kids a lot of nightmares as a kid, yet they still kept it on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I know that like Adventure Time and maybe even Regular Show at times would have like these really spooky moments, and it would just like scare the shit out of me. I remember one time it was a Adventure Time thing, story time, I guess. So one of the Adventure Time specials it was for like Halloween, and pretty much its entire thing is that it was a murder party.
Hmm.
And the thing didn't really scare me all too much, but it's like the characters would quote unquote die, and then they would panic and do their own thing. Sort of similar to like the first like zombie episode they had like ages ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the main thing that like scared me, it like it gave me nightmares. At the end of the episode, Finn goes up to like the top of this like tower, and then he's in it, and then this giant green monster thing comes out from beneath, like right behind a giant bookshelf, and he just stares at him. It's made of all these different colors and shit. And then he just cuts to Finn's eyes and like a shocked expression. Then the video ends, or like then the
Oh
show
shit.
ends, and that gave me so many nightmares as a kid. I remember like having dreams of just like I don't know what they were specifically, but just imagine like generic scenes similar to that, and it was just spooky.
Real quick, did you want gold, silver, or bronze metal parts?
Uh, I
What kind
want
of metal are you?
I want to say silver.
Silver? Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Uh, some stuff back then. You know, I had a love-hate relationship with uh, whatever the fuck we're talking about, Adventure Time. Um, it was a really cool show, and when I would watch it, I would find myself laugh at certain stuff.
Mhm.
But I always thought that the animation and the art was very lazy.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's also it's an inquired one, and I can actually say that like I don't think I've seen a show animated or drawn like that
Mhm.
before Adventure Time. And then once that came out, everybody started doing the
Yeah,
Adventure Time.
and that's like the main issue with it is Adventure Time was definitely cool because it was unique.
It was one of the first ones to do it, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
but now it's just sort of regurgitated into a okay, well, let's make everything look like this to make it look kid friendly. The cool thing with Adventure Time is that they had the type of art style, but they definitely had themes to back it. They had creepy things, they had exciting things, they had like spooky things, whatever. They had more themes going on than the meets the eye. And I definitely feel as if they played that to their advantage at times. Some episodes are really well made and spooky. Meanwhile, other ones would be exactly what you'd think like a 50-year-old mom would play, just to keep their kids entertained.
right, right.
So it would definitely vary. I know that Steven Universe really pushed out some ideas as to what things should do, but Steven Universe wasn't exactly the best for what it was trying to do.
Yeah, I fit Steven Universe into that same stigma with Adventure Time, but I respect the ideas that it was pulling off.
Yeah,
You know, the fuck?
I think
Yeah.
like the biggest issue that Steven Universe had is the hiatuses. In case you didn't know, when the series first came out, it would be a thing in which like a rough estimate is that they would come out after season one. They would come out with like 8 episodes, and then they would take a 150-day hiatus.
Really?
So it would be a
Why? Did
thing.
they get in trouble or something?
I
Or
I don't know. So it would always be a thing in which they would just push out these episodes, And then say if something big was happening in the story, the pacing would feel off if they wanted to put in a filler episode. So say that you
Yeah.
would be at like this, things are very ramping up, and then they take like 150 days to get it done, and you're just really waiting to figure out what happens, and then just like, hey, they're having a party, but what happens to the other thing? And then you need to
Right.
wait another 150 days. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, and that can definitely get annoying.
Yeah, and I think I haven't like binged the show at all because I have no idea what it's on, but I think that you can see some of those growing pains at some points because it's just sort of like, all right, well, you just had this really high intense situation. How are we going to do this? Well, let's just focus on the townsfolk. But why?
Right, right. Like we have this big thing going on. Let's quit that.
Yeah, and I think that was like one of Steven Universe's big issues. Granted, I remember like watching the first half of the first season as a kid, and I was like, "Oh, dude, the show is so cool." But then it's just like I ended up seeing some bits of it. And a lot of people were complaining for some reason. There's a lot of people who love it, and then there's a lot of people who complain about it. So we're just like, yeesh.
Right, right. We're getting along here. Getting along
Hey,
here. Oh man. So I don't know if you were with me earlier when I was talking about it. But I was talking to Becca and Jack about Monster Hunter
hmm
and how I had just found out that in Monster Hunter Rise there is a certain monster that you can fight, and the monster weapon that it gives you is a giant paintbrush. That's so cool. That's so cool. And like you can paint the monster and then it'll like explode and do
what?
damage with it. And I'm like, oh, I'm super excited. That's gonna be such my weapon. I'm so
Dude, how much of
excited.
a bet that people are gonna make Bob Ross characters with just that weapon?
Just with a fro. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Exactly,
That'd be fantastic.
dude. With Bob Ross, one of the games that I play occasionally, I've been getting back into it, but it's called a Smite.
Yeah, Smite.
And pretty much for one of the characters, they had a Bob Ross crossover at one point, and one of the characters is legitimately they were reskinned, and it's like Bob Ross on this giant like wood monster, but the wood monster has like a smiley face on it, and then whenever he sends out like little trees originally, but when Bob Ross does it, it paints itself, and then he mentions like, "Oh, I'm just gonna plant a little happy tree here, gonna do it there."
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Some of that stuff. How are you? Me and you play a lot of video games, and
Mhm.
when we get together, we can usually talk about certain video games and what's going on with them. How are you feeling with all these like microtransaction stuff
Yeah.
going on here?
So the main example I can really give when it comes to how I think games should sort of be is like, all right, microtransactions are personally I don't like it, but people need a reason to come back. So
Yeah.
let's say that, all right, these are going to be two completely different things, but bear with me here. Plants vs. Zombies and Overwatch. Two entirely different things, but let me elaborate. Plants vs. Zombies originally came back, or just like came in during like the early 2000s, and the game was just all in one package. It would be roughly 10 hours long, if not 15. If you want to include the mini games, it would be like 20, 25. And it would be a thing in which just like the developers were having fun with it. There was no DLCs, there was none of that stuff. And if you just typed in certain things, it would unlock dumb modes. Like if you typed in mustache onto the keyboard, you would give all the zombies mustaches.
I
If
remember that.
if you
Yeah.
would type in like sunglasses, it would give them all sunglasses. If you type in like dance party, all of them would dance, stupid stuff like that. And
I miss
always
that
be like
stuff.
super cool. Some of the plants in that game, say for example, like the cherry bomb, would be an item that you would go ahead and get, and it was like the fourth, fifth level in the game that you would get out of like 50, and it would like explode and instant kill zombies in a huge radius. And you'd be like, dude, this is like super cool. Granted, you never used it later on because the recharge time would take so long, but when Plants vs. Zombies 2 came around, a lot of those really good plants were locked behind paywalls.
Were they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was super shitty because if you took the number count, there was, say, 50 plants in Plants vs. Zombies 1, right? Technically 60 if you counted the upgrades, but let's just go for like 50. If you did the numbers, 1/5 of all the plants in Plants vs. Zombies 1 was stuck behind a paywall.
Good lord.
And it's like, okay, why though? When it comes to Overwatch, I understand that most of the time, whenever people play a game, they constantly want updates. And updates is something I can sort of understand. You know, you want the game to continuously be fresh. With me, when it comes to games, I always want to work towards something. So if you just say, hey, if you do like this X amount of times, you get this, but there's also the side thing you can do, and I will just chew that up. But if you get something like, say, Overwatch, in which they don't really add anything other than just skins every time, it's sort of not that good.
No, no.
Like, a lot of people shit on Fortnite, but the main thing that you can say is that they definitely kept going strong with the additions. Granted, no one can do something like with what they did, adding something new in every week. That's insane.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you have some stuff like that with Fallout 76, which is like my only sort of like what do you call it? Microtransaction fix.
Mm,
Like I spent so much money in fucking Fallout 76. But like they do consistently push stuff out every week. But the thing that gets me is like okay, like it's still a game that people play on Twitch and stuff and still has a fan base,
mm,
right? Cuz like people love Fallout, people want to play Fallout and they want something new. But the major thing that happened with Fallout was like people are like, "Hey, where's the content?" Like, like it's been months since I've had something new to play in that game, and which I'm a little grateful for because I'm able to play Monster Hunter and not have to worry about getting on every single day and yada. Um, but like you're spending so much resources and so much time just to fill out your store and your microtransactions instead of putting something in the game. How about instead of that new weapon skin that you just put into the store, how about you put it in the game for somebody to get under something else? And who cares
exactly.
if it takes a little bit more time? At least people can't say that your game isn't a pile of shit with nothing in it.
That's why
Yeah.
it's like, to me, the main way that I can see it is that I was never really one to be like, all right, hey, let me spend all the money in the game because I never really had the money to begin with. With like, especially like a few years ago, it'd always be a thing which is like, this really cool thing would come out. You need to pay $20 for it though. Fuck.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
at that point, I started seeing it as a why buy this when I can just buy a game with the same price. And I feel like that's the most ridiculous thing. I would understand if it's sort of like a mobile thing, and which is just like, hey, pay like $2, $3 for this like new weapon, or maybe not even that, just sort of like cosmetics or something, and it would just be optional. A lot, if you remember the Black Ops 2 days, where they would have a store and it'd be like, hey, you can buy these skins
Yeah.
and like calling cards, and yeah, that like sure, screw it, I'm not gonna pay for it, but yeah, but it's like one of the games that I play with my friends is Killing Floor 2.
I love Killing Floor. It's a fun game.
The thing is though is that I don't know too much of like the beef with the developers. 'Cause I know that the fans sort of have beef with the devs, but like the weapons, what they do is like every single time they add in a new update, it's sort of similar to Overwatch, in which they have an event, then they'll add something new in. Every single time they do in an update, they add two weapons. And say for an example, they added in a minigun, which you needed to pay for, and then they added in like this sort of bad medic weapon that was free. The thing is though is that in this case the weapons that they add in they're like $8 a piece,
Yeah.
and you need to pay $8 for it. You get all five skins, but what's the point at that point? And then what's
Right.
worse is that the weapons aren't even that good, which I can see is a thing in which it's just like, all right, well, you have an overpowered pay to win weapon, then it would just be bad for the community. But it's like the minigun. It's
Yeah.
known to be one of the worst weapons in the game, and it's just like how it's a minigun,
Right. Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
sort of like nuts. The main way that I enjoy that though, and I feel like other devs should do the same thing, is if someone buys, say, the minigun, and if they're in a lobby full of people, everyone can also use the minigun.
I think that would be nice.
It's a shared system. I feel as if you can like combine that system and like say Apex's system of no duplicates and like loot boxes or something, then you can make something really interesting there. So like say
Right.
in Apex you're playing with like someone new and you have all the heroes and you've had them for like ages, and if you get into a game with them, it would be cool if it unlocked all of it for them as well.
Yeah. But there's no money in that.
Yeah,
No.
and people has to continuously make money. It's not like, oh, sell the game, we did well. No, it's sell the game and push the microtransactions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really dumb. I don't know. Like I think about how, when you were a really little kid, I used to play the old Rainbow Six
Hmm.
stuff back before they came out with fucking the new shit that
Siege.
I don't really care about. Um, and back then it was like, oh man, I really wish they had a riot shield in this game. And people were like, but it is in the game. You just have to play the game for like, this or get this amount of kills or whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
And so like I grinded for like 2 weeks to play that fucking game in online mode. You had to do it in online mode, and then you would get the fucking riot shield, and then it was one of those things where it's like, bro, how'd you get the riot shield? Oh, I had to fucking do all this in here, and like I feel like kids nowadays miss out on that shit,
Yeah.
and like you're getting playtime on your games, you're just making it to where you want to add stuff in later
Hmm. Like you sort
instead of
of,
doing the shit. So
is it sort of like a thing in which like they just make the game and they add things in later instead of giving you the full product?
they're not finishing the fucking games that you're supposed to be finishing first of all.
That's why I feel like it's sort of hard for like smaller developers, because it's sort of like having a very good community is something that you obviously want to hold on to. So I feel as if it would be great if it's sort of like, all right, hey, here's an option to grind for it, and it's easier to grind for it. But if you want to give us money, then here's like cosmetics. The main issue is like the cosmetics in some games are either the only thing people make instead of
Mm-hmm.
content,
Mm-hmm.
or they go down the entire route of, hey, we eventually add in new weapons that are better than the new ones, or they're too interesting compared to the normal ones.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how Fallout 76 works too, is that they're like, well, you don't have to buy any of these things. You don't have to do this. But you're not coming out with anything in the game except for the microtransactions. Like, what do you want me to do? I guess I'll just quit playing your fucking game. What's two of your favorite colors?
Let's show my favorite colors.
Yes.
Let me try to think, because I know that there is like gray, blue. I'm getting into a little bit of orange, and I know that. I'm trying to think. There's like gray, blue, orange, maybe a little bit of purple.
Blue, orange, and purple. I'm gonna stick with those.
Already?
Okay. Yeah. It's like, but for Fallout 76, it's like you don't have to. They're all just skins, and they don't do anything for your character. And it's like, yeah, well, you're about 2 years down the hole, or I don't know, maybe 3 years now at this point. Who fucking knows? But um, you're this far down the hole, and now you have things where you can get boosts if you buy these fucking lunch boxes.
Oh.
Or here's some more functionality with this robot that will now collect stuff for you so you don't have to play the game all the time.
It's sort of just becoming an idle mobile game
And it's
then.
like, it's a mobile game. That's all it is, man. It's all fucking
Dude,
mobile
if I
game.
wanted to play Fallout Shelter, I would.
And then it gets even lazier with some of their stuff. I have real hope for Bethesda when it comes to Starfield, and hope that they've learned from some of their mistakes. But stuff like the legendary system, where it's like, oh my god, there's a legendary enemy out there in the distance. If I kill it, I'll have a, a certain percentage to get a gun that does a certain amount of different stuff, and it's sort of like a random generator.
Mhm.
And I've just been thinking like, what happened with all these fucking games just treating us like we're a fucking cash machine? Not
Yeah.
a cash machine, but like a lottery. What am I looking for? Um,
Lottery?
fucking,
Oh,
fucking. I can't think.
slot machine.
Slot machine. Just a whole slot machine, and just, you know what? Spin it and see what you get.
That's
See
why
what happens.
I think like when it comes to grinding games, I think that's the reason why I didn't like Destiny for the longest time compared to like
Destiny's
say
a lot
board
like that. Yeah.
because the main comparison I would have is when it comes to like Borderlands versus Destiny. I'll be honest, I never gave Destiny that much of a shot when it first came out because I was thinking, oh no, all the Borderlands YouTubers are moving to it. I just don't like Destiny now, which is sort of stupid on my end. But like after trying Destiny, it just doesn't really catch me as much as Borderlands does, or as it did really.
I always play it with my friends, and that was kind of like the only reason I was playing it.
Yeah, it's like sort of neat to do it with friends, but it's like, yeah. I know that there's another game that my buddies are into now, and it's called Warframe.
Warframe, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff about that. I remember when it came out, but I never really got into it.
I mean, like, it sort of has a similar thing. To me, it reminds me a lot of Destiny, but a lot of people, when they're into it, just says, no, 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 no. The thing with Warframe is that it's a free game, so you might already know where this is going. But pretty much it has a way in which I don't play it because it's a lot of grinding. The
Yeah,
main game's entire thing is that you're just sort of grinding for the sake of it in a way. And it's sort of like, all right, there, imagine like a sort of legend system in which you have like several, like you have 60 different characters you can play as. But all of those characters has a prime version in which they do more stuff, they do more damage, or they just have new abilities, so they're mostly sought after. The thing is, though,
right.
is that to get them, you need to get their parts. And it's like 5 different parts of it. And you can either craft them, find them, or straight up pay for them. And crafting them, I know, takes a nightmare. If you want to build them, it takes like a week to do it sometimes, which is nuts.
Yeah,
That means that you're waiting for a full week, and then it's sort of like a mobile game in which they're like, hey, if you spend X amount of money, you can do it automatically.
right, yeah.
Or if
Speed
you
it
want
up.
to, or if you want to spend $20 here, you get the character and the Prime version. And it goes back to that entire argument of, well, you don't have to pay money. You can just grind it yourself. Yes, but who wants to spend a full like 2 weeks of their time going after one thing when you can easily just play something else?
Right, yeah, and it's like, I'm not gonna play your fucking game
Yeah, it sort of sucks. It's like if you
then.
enjoy the game, it's like I love this game, but I just don't want to, I don't want it to go down this route. I don't want it to be a chore rather than something I enjoy.
Right. Fucking video games. Fucking video games. You get a chance to play anything like D&D recently?
D&D is something I've been meaning to sort of get into. I've been offered by it by like a few buddies, but every single time in which I either say yes, they're either just like busy or just with people that I don't exactly know, and it's sort of like, sorry, I just sort of want to do it with like, people that I know better.
That makes sense.
D&D is something that I definitely want to get into. I know like ages ago when I was thinking of a character, I think the character I came up with is that like they would have been a alchemist, but it also would have been an archer,
That's
in
cool.
which the idea is that they would shoot arrows that would have like the tips would be soaked in a potion that
Oh,
they
that's
would
cool.
sort of be inflicted with. So the idea is that you would like shoot something and then it would either like explode. Maybe not that, but it's like
Yeah, like
it,
healing ones
yeah, or
and
whatever. And I was thinking at one point, which is just like you would shoot an arrow at like this small area where like a lot of allies died or like a lot of skeletons are. Then you rise them back up from the dead.
that's smart. I like that idea.
So it's just sort of like
That's creative.
wacky stuff like that. When it comes to games and things, I'm normally like the healer, but that's mostly due to process of elimination. I'm not that much the tank. If I have a role in a game, I love to be someone who can deal damage and he can heal.
Yeah.
So, like, say in Overwatch, Zenyatta is a character in the game in which his entire thing is he's very squishy, but he has these two orbs. So he sends an orb on someone that's an ally, and it's a healing orb that casually heals them, and it has a huge radius when it comes to how far you need to be away from, the character from it. So you can be halfway across that map, and that orb will still be on them, healing them. And you can just send it to whoever you want, and all of a sudden they get healed, and you can just sort of waddle away. But he also has another orb named Discord, in which if he sends it on an enemy, they like take 25% more damage.
Oh, nice.
So if your allies see this, they just dogpile on them, and then they just die. So you're basically saying, hey, hit this guy, hit that guy, hey, this guy. And sort of just back and forth until the entire enemy team just dies.
That's a pretty cool gimmick for a character like that.
Yeah, so it's just like that type of style I really enjoy.
That's cool. Well, I'm sure you'll find a bunch of players to do something like that with.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like some really cool ideas for shit like that. Me and my group had to stop playing when COVID started. Um, our DM is very hypo. What's the word for it?
Hypochondriac?
Not a hypochondriac, but like he's very receptible to diseases. And, David, I'm sorry if I'm not saying this right. He's probably like, "What the fuck is this dude talking about?" But yeah, ever since then, like we haven't been able to do shit. Fucking COVID sucks, man.
Honestly.
COVID sucks.
I think like COVID ruined some things for like everybody. I know that when COVID hit, at first it was sort of like it was a thing in which like, oh great, I'm going back to online school. Because context, I was like, prior to the school that I'm at now, I was like on online school for like 3, 4 years. So it's like, all right, great, I'm just going back to being on a computer, yay.
Right, yeah.
But it's sort of just like, all right, well, this sort of like sucks. It's like, all right, hey, I actually like am having buddies I can do stuff with now, and now I just can't because everything's closed. Shit.
Yeah, I keep hearing about like people having like they're sending their kids to school, but they only go like half a day, and then the other
Oh,
half is them at home.
okay.
And I'm like, why? Like, why even have your kids go to school then at that point? You know what I mean?
So some schools, it really just depends on the district because with me, my school did it as if the week is cut in half. You would be assigned a certain group, and that would be blue group or green group. Depending on what your group is, I think by the last name. Say like blue group has to go in Monday and Tuesday, and green has to go in Thursday and Friday. That means that blue group goes in Monday and Tuesday, while the green group does work from home. Wednesday, the school decides to clean the entire building, and they make sure that if anyone had COVID, then it's cleaned off.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the green group comes in, and then they have their own public school.
Gotcha.
So, and then
That's
blue group,
interesting.
yeah. But it's a thing though in which it's just like the teachers would sort of be like, well, shit, because that means that
They're just being exposed to a whole bunch of people
I mean it's not
all
even
the
just that.
time.
It's a thing in which it's just like the students they would have to reteach twice a week because group
That's true.
A
Yeah.
they would teach something to group A and then they would need to teach something to group B, but it had to be the same thing. So they would get half the work done in double the amount of time.
I do not envy being a teacher during this time.
Oh yeah, no. Uh, with me personally, some of the best things I enjoy is like fiction when it comes to like sort of not alternate universe type things, but like say, ironically enough, I was fascinated with like viruses and stuff like that before COVID even hit. And I was wondering, all right, well, if a virus happened today, what would it be like? Ironically enough, COVID happened.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a cool thing to think about because I was always thinking like, transportation would be screwed up and all this other type of stuff. But I remember the day in which it happened, in which like they would announce that we would be like out of school, and the next day all the teachers had to get together for the morning, and that was their last day before break anyways. So they needed to make up with a plan on the spot. This was the end of our school year in 2020,
Mm.
before it was in like March. So the thing that was like really, it was really interesting to me, but like pretty much what it was is that everyone was in the like kids were still coming in, and I was normally at breakfast during the time anyways, but it's like classes didn't start till like 10, 15 minutes after normal. And normal kids weren't even like, they were excused for it too, because all the teachers in the building were in the library, and they needed to make up something on the spot as to what they were going to be doing for the last 9 weeks. And it was like, dude, damn. Like, they did
Good
not
Lord.
have that much of a choice. So it was interesting to see all the teachers sort of react to it. For some reason, the English teachers were the ones to break down.
Specifically the English
Yeah,
teachers.
because it's like the lab teacher's like, all right, well, shit, because now how are we going to set the extra hours in? I know, like, my government teacher, he was having fun with it, but he was, like, willing to go to his students' houses just to give them the assignments and stuff like that. He didn't mind it.
I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah, but it's like, my science teacher handled it pretty much like an online school would. She was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry that this is happening to you guys. I'm just gonna give you this packet you can do a week. Just do like 2 out of the 4 assignments on there, and you'll be good. They won't take more than like 30 minutes. Just go for it." Super cool of her.
Well, that's cool.
But it's like again, the English teachers would just break down. I feel so bad for them, but it's like, yeesh.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, no, like,
Shit, they already deal with so much, you
I
know?
know. And it sucks even more because most of the English teachers, there's so many kids there, in which they're constantly falling behind when it comes to the grading process because there's so many things to grade. So now they don't even get to see the students. I was like, oh, that's so shitty.
Yeah, no, that's very shitty.
But it's like, I don't think I'll ever forget that morning in which everyone was in that, like, library for like the first 15, 10 minutes, and you get to see everyone's reactions in their, like, in their faces in there. It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, I was working as a cake decorator at that point, and just like in the grocery store that I was working at, like when they announced that kids were gonna have to be like pulled from schools and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and school was closed, like that day, I had a panic attack at work because we just got like rushed with people, and I don't mean like people were rushing the bakery and everybody was wanting a cake. No, but they like, I was like, okay, well, I'm seeing everybody run in here and freak out, and everyone's taking water and shit. So I'm
Oh,
like,
like, did you not know what was going on?
I sort of did, but it was mostly just my coworkers that are like, oh yeah, dude, they're shutting down schools, and I'm like, oh well, that's crazy. Like I don't care, I don't go to school. And then and then I'm coming in from lunch or something. Actually, I didn't take lunch just yet, but I was just like there, and everyone's taking water and doing this and that and this and that. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take my lunch real quick and I'm gonna go to fucking Walmart and see if I can find some masks or something because people are freaking the fuck out and I'm like surrounded by people.
Ooh, yeah.
And then as I'm getting there, they're like, yo, we just sold out of every fucking mask. Some guy just bought
Oh,
like 500 of them. And I'm
good
like,
God.
what the fuck? So I'm freaking out. Rachel's still like driving around, doing deliveries.
Oh, so she wasn't even aware of it.
No, but the thing was is that I'm like, me and her are still kind of skeptical. I was having a anxiety attack because of all the people here. Like
Mhm.
just everybody running around, it was frantic. And I was like, um, should we get water? Should we get like extra things for power? Get canned food just in case? And she's like, no, I think people are just blowing this out of proportion. And I was like, yeah, me too. Here it comes to where everyone's wearing fucking masks. Me and her end up getting quarantined. I'm pretty sure I had COVID at one point because like there was one part in there where I was like, bro, I'm gonna die. Like this is terrible. Me and Rachel both felt that way. We were laying down in the middle of our living room right over here, just sitting here like, and all we did was play PlayStation. That's all we did all week.
Like,
Yeah.
when they said that they were shutting down schools, I told you about like the morning afterwards, but the day that it happened, it was very ironic because something that I noticed is that a lot of big events that happen to me, and this isn't just comedic effect, it's stupidly true. I'm normally in the bathroom whenever it happens. So, for instance, during my science class, I normally like went to the bathroom at the same time, and it would normally like take me like 10 minutes, whatever. But when I came back, my science teacher was like out looking for me, and she's like, "Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was in the bathroom."
Taking
And,
a shit,
and then she was like, "Well, there's some big news for you." And I'm like, "All right, wait, what did I do?" And everyone is like cheering in the classrooms.
Cheering.
Yeah, because school was out pretty much. They were basically like they were cheering because the guy at the time was saying, "Well, school will be out for like the next month," and people were like, "Yay, longer spring break!" So they didn't know that things are gonna be as bad. But it's like people were like cheering and shit like that. My science classroom is already like rowdy enough as it is, but that just made it worse. And one of my buddies was like, "Hey, how does it feel to go from online school back to like here, just to be back to online school?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" He showed me, and it's like the governor is like shutting down schools for like a month, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It was like, I don't know. To me, it's super interesting to see because in my government class, it was a thing in which the government class was very laid back, but when COVID started coming around, he did the small test. Ironic that the science teacher didn't do this. But he did the small test in which whenever someone walked in the door, he would be like, "Hey, how worried are you when it comes to COVID? 1 out of 10." And he would ask them every day when they would come in, and it would be interesting because leading up to that point, the numbers were slowly rising up
Yeah. Yeah.
until
fucking
school
every
closed
day you're
in.
seeing something different.
Exactly, and it's like, the U.S. has like 5 more cases, 6, 7, 10. And I was like, ah.
Right.
I remember when like Ohio first got hit by cases, and people were like, "Well, we're gonna shut down soon, aren't we?" Like, dude, that day was crazy.
Crazy time we live in.
Yeah. I don't. So from what I remember, I don't think I've ever gotten COVID yet, which is nuts. I haven't gotten a vaccine or anything else like that, but I just haven't gotten it yet, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me. I think our father and maybe our stepmother ended up getting it, but I surprisingly enough didn't, which is just crazy. It's ironic because I feel as if I would get it, then I'd pretty much be screwed.
I don't think you'd be screwed.
And it's just like the asthma and everything else like that.
You have a pretty healthy immune system. Um, with all your healthy eating habits and stuff.
I mean, like, I don't think my immune system is that good. That's just because, like, say, when thinking of the public school thing, I haven't been around that many people otherwise. So when I would get sick, it would sort of be bad because my immune system wasn't strong enough to fight it.
Yeah, I could get that.
So just sort of like, well, shit.
Well, I think we are almost done here.
Hey.
How you liking it so far?
I definitely do like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love how, like, the arm is, like, shining.
Yeah. I'll try to put something in there like that. I think I'm just going to make a few cracks in this wall here.
Go for it.
Put those way down here. Across right over here. Yep. Just like that. Now I feel like this feel from here is sort of like more of you're an outlaw being hunted by them. So I don't know if I got the entire feel down, but yeah, yeah. Did I?
I mean, the thing I'm thinking is that if you really wanted to, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm thinking because it's like you could add like a small like weapon or something somewhere.
Yeah? You want one on like your hip
Yeah.
or something? Or that one. Put this in here.
Like a pistol holder or something.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like a, I'll tell you what, I'm going to add to the side here.
Go
Kind of a
for it.
little bit concealed.
Gotta be sneaky, man. I ended up realizing that when it comes to like pistols in games, I'm surprisingly good with them, and I don't know why.
Surprisingly good with them.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's like dual pistols or just like silence pistols. I'm just really, I have a lot of fun with them, and most of the time I just sort of, whenever I play games, I like to have mobility, but sometimes it's also just fun just to like deal damage and all this other type of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just fun to have that adrenaline going when you're like jumping all over the place. You have like 4 or 5 kills, and an entire team's just trying to kill you, and you're just running around like a fly.
I don't know what is up with my screen. Every time I clean it, I think it might be my glove. Because my hands sweat a lot. I have really clammy hands.
I feel that.
So I feel like it might be coming through my glove, and I might have to clean this a little bit when I do laundry.
Man, that's all right.
Like that, and then let's do just a little bit of shading around there. Bam, and then clean that edge up. Shabam, you got a side piece.
Hey.
There we go. And what would it be? Like Brandon the Outlaw? Brando?
Brando.
Uh, do it in black first. What is it? Brandon the Outlaw work or?
I'm trying to think of like a semi-decent name. Because it's for an outlaw, yeah. So it's not like a bounty hunter. Uh, Let me think.
I keep thinking like Bash the Stampede. From
Stampede.
Trigun.
If it was a bounty hunter, I would have named it like Brandon the Cleaner.
The Cleaner. Yeah. You're more creative with these second names. I don't know. Okay, well, let me look up something. Look up synonyms. Synonyms for bounty hunter. Somebody's watching this and they're like, it's fucking headhunter, mercenary, huntsman, assassin, mercenary.
We can do a mercenary.
You wanna do
Mercenary like huntsman.
Mercenary huntsman.
Yeah.
So Brandon the huntsman.
What do you think? The huntsman or the mercenary?
Probably Brandon the mercenary.
No.
So I'm thinking. All right, so let's do that. Let's do. I wonder. Wait a second. I wonder. Wait a second. Wait. I want to get a little flashy with this for a second.
Go for it.
I can do this. Do that. Do like a. Yeah, that could work.
There's gonna be like a little neon sign or something.
I was thinking on the lines of like you're kind of standing right outside of your mugshot photo.
Oh.
There. That. Let's break this down just a little bit. Cool. Cool. I'll move this down, maybe. No.
It's
Actually,
charging though. Come
I
on.
have 100% on my phone right now, and I don't need that there. Ah, there we go.
Haha.
Cool. Oh, whoops. Not that one.
I applaud you for having like 30 layers, by
What
the
the
way.
fuck? Thank you. You know what? Move out of my face. Put that back on. Maybe. No, I think we wanted that on there. Alright, fine. Let's move you over here then.
That wind though.
That wind, though. The wind has been super nice to us lately.
It has. Unless it's like nighttime in which it's storming.
You know what? Never mind. I don't want this idea. So I think we'll just do some like graffiti on the wall or something. Let's do it that way.
That's alright.
So we'll do. Right there. That, and then we'll make this just a little bit of a drippage effect here.
Oh yeah, I know that you said earlier that one of your buddies thought I would have like picked an Undertale type theme.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I actually think I said it on a video last week when I was doing my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have my brother on next week. I feel like he might do some like Undertale stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he put a comment in the last video that's like, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing your brother's Undertale character.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you. We switched it up, Tyler.
Ha
Quit squeaking, please.
Nah, but like if another chance ever pops up like this, I'll definitely think of other ideas as well. To throw you
Yeah.
out of your elements.
No, that's why I've been telling everybody who comes up on here, like, everybody's really helping me out because doing this type of stuff, it's really, really helping me develop my style.
Mm.
I'm starting to notice a lot more. Um, and it's really nice, I've been really, really liking all this stuff. Plus, I get to see my friends, my family, and do all this stuff with everybody, and it's been really nice. One really bad thing about being an artist is that sometimes when you're in your craft and stuff, you kind of forget, to sit here and talk with people that you love and who is your muses, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, that's a very artistic way to say it. But cool. All right. Brandon the Mercenary is here.
Hey.
Damn, you look like a badass with your glasses. There we go. There we go. Badass. All right. Well, do you have anything that you wanted to plug? Anything on YouTube? Or anything?
Not exactly. Mostly just because that I haven't gotten around to actually doing anything on my YouTube channel yet. It has like videos on it from like 4 or 3 years ago. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha. You want to shout out to any friends or anything?
Shout out to a few buddies, I guess. Mostly artists. Taz and Scribbler, buddies that I know on Discord. I guess Wolf and Waffles as well from PlayStation.
you know you're gonna miss out on somebody, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck, man?
Yeah,
Yell at
pretty
the
much.
screen now."
Turtle, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you soon with another guest, another piece of artwork, and Brandon, we will all have you on here really soon.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Y'all have a good day. We'll catch you later.
Have a good one.